OCA media is out of this world.
Being your best isn't just about taking care of your body.
It's about taking care of your mind and mental health.
Find the resources you need
to make your mental health a priority.
Love your mind.
If you're buzzed and doing this to make yourself feel okay to drive, you're not okay to drive.
Okay, it's good evening. It's 5 o'clock. I'll call the Village Board of Oregon to order for Monday, March 2nd, 2026. I would ask the clerk to call the roll, please.
Higgins.
Here.
Kirchdorfer.
Here.
Knipfer.
Here.
Marks.
Here.
McDaniel.
Here.
Peterson.
Here.
And Van Campen.
Here. And just a periodic reminder, make sure you speak into your microphones. Thank you. Item 3, approval of February 16th, 2026 Village Board meeting minutes if correct and corrections, mistakes, if any. Look for a motion to move. We have Tom and Paige. Questions, comments, corrections? Seeing none. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item 4, public appearances, comments, communications. Item 4, discussion and or possible action. Public comment. This part of the agenda allows members of the public to provide information to the village board, including items both on and off the agenda. Under the open meetings law, this item allows board members to receive information and ask questions of a presenter. Board members may not discuss procedural matters related to the information. 15 minutes will be provided for this item with a 3-minute maximum per speaker. Do we have anyone here for public comments tonight? Public comments? Moving on then. Thank you. Item 5, approval of vouchers in the amount of $10,903,207.75. For a motion to approve. Amanda and Paige. Questions on these? No? Okay, we have a motion by Amanda, second by Paige. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Nope.
Aye.
I'm sorry, once again.
Roll call.
That's my perennial error.
Well, Van Campen.
Yes.
Knipfer.
Yes.
Marks.
Yes.
McDaniel.
Yes.
Higgins.
Yes.
Kirchdorfer.
Yes.
And Peterson.
Yes.
Thank you. Item 6, consent agenda. Staff Staff recommendation, motion to approve the consent agenda items as presented. That's item 6A and 6B. Anyone? Amanda and Paige. Questions on these items? Hearing none. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no. Motion carries. Item 7, reports of committees, none. Item 8, unfinished business items for discussion and/or possible action. A, amendments to special assessments for the 2025 North Oak Street and utility improvements projects. I would open the public hearing and ask if the staff has additional comments.
Not at this time.
Okay. All right, then this is a public hearing. This part of the agenda allows members of the public to provide information to the village board related to the topic at hand. A time limit of 3 minutes per speaker is set unless otherwise modified by the village board. Anyone here to speak on this item? Anyone? Okay, moving on, I'll close the public hearing. Item 3, resolution number 26-04, amending the final resolution number 25-21, authorizing public improvements and levying special assessments for the 2025 North Oak Street and utility improvements project. Staff recommendation, motion to approve. Higgins, Peterson. Questions on this item? Hearing none, we have a motion by Higgins, second by Peterson. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no. Motion carries. Item 8B, New Oregon Senior Center and Community Gymnasium Facility Project. 1, presentation and review of the base bid, alternate number 1 and alternate number 2 bid opening results for the project. And with us we have Jeff Vine.
Good evening. My name is Jeff Vine. I'm the owner's rep for our new Oregon Senior Center project. And we got a number of items to go through here. Do you want me to just maybe say a few words about each item and then if there's questions? Okay, the first one is, and I assume we can scroll and maybe see this information in the packet, but we had an interesting bid because we had 4 contractors, 3 of them were very close to each other, and then we had a contractor that we found out after the fact had a significant error in their bid. So when we look at those bid results on that previous page, corporate contractors is the one that had the error, and Portson, who we will talk about here in a minute, was the second low bidder, which now would be the bidder that we're recommending. So the order that we have, I guess, on the agenda, which order are we going to go in here?
The next item would be the request from corporate contractors to withdraw its bid.
To withdraw their bid?
Yeah.
Okay, so we talked to them a couple times, found out what was going on. They sent in some information to show us that the error that they made is they didn't carry the $2,700,000 electrical bid forward on their bid form correctly when somebody entered it in error. They forgot a couple zeros, and that's why their bid ended up being as low as it was. I talked with Larry and the folks at Stafford, and we talked about what we could or should do, and it turns out when there's an error like that, that's a legitimate mistake. We have the option to just let them out of that bid. And so they formally requested a withdrawal, and we decided, or at least we're recommending, that we let them withdraw their bid and that we don't call on their bid bond or have any sort of a penalty for them. I don't know, I don't think that's maybe a good thing to do for the village in the future as far as people being willing to bid. And, you know, there's really, we can move on. We still are in a good situation with the other 3 bids that we have. And so we're just recommending that we allow them to withdraw the bid with no penalty.
Okay, let's deal with these as we go along then. So we have a request from Corporate Contractors Incorporated to withdraw its bid for the project due to bona fide material clerical area. Staff recommendation, motion to approve. Christopher and Peterson, questions, comments? Tim and Tom.
I have a question. If I read it correctly, it looked like if they corrected their mistake to what they originally intended to bid, their bid would have been the lowest. Is that
No, if you add the two alternates to their bid with the correction, they would actually have been the high bidder.
Okay.
Yeah, so,
It was just on the base bid that
we did analyze everybody even with their correction, but because we're recommending tonight that we accept both the alternates, that's adds, another $500,000 or
Okay.
so dollars to the number.
Okay, Tom?
Second question.
Okay. Anyone else on this one? Okay, we have a motion by Kirstover, second by Peterson. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next one, Jeff, is to consider award the contract, base bid, et cetera.
To Portson,
Yes.
correct. So, our development budget that we developed based off of those design development drawings that we looked at, I think maybe in October of last year, towards the end of October, we had been carrying a number in that development budget of 19 million, and then there was some money in there for solar PV panels as well, a separate line item for $100,000. So in the bid, we had roughly 19,150,000, and Portson's bid with both of the alternates for PV, which we're suggesting we do it all because we have money available. Portson's bid is 17,911,500. That makes them $1,240,625 underneath the development budget. So even taking them as the next contractor, we're still significantly under what we had been planning for the development budget and then for the borrowing that we'll need to do over the next 2 years. And so I guess with that, we're requesting to approve their bid and also to approve that we're going to do both of the PV alternates.
Okay, so the next item is to consider award of contract for base bid alternate number 1 and alternate number 2 for the project. Staff recommendation and motion to award the construction contract for the project to Portson Construction Incorporated for the base bid amount of $17,328,500 plus alternate number 1, $292,000, and alternate number 2, $291,000 for a total contract amount of $17,911,500. Looking for a motion to approve. Kirchhofer and Peterson. Questions, comments?
Honestly, I'm still confused on the math. Because my understanding is corporate contractor's bid would have been 2.4 million higher, which would have put them at 17.8.
Can we go back and look at the bid tab?
So they're listed at 15.4, and if you added the 2.4
I think you need to zoom there.
to that would be 17.8, right? Instead of 17.9? I mean, I'm not necessarily looking to reward them but that's why I had asked the question in the first place.
I guess I'd have to look at that math again. I don't know if we can zoom in on that slide. I don't think it affects what we're talking about tonight. They're withdrawing their bid, and regardless of what their corrected bid would have been. But I think it says in their letter maybe what their corrected bid would have been. So it's 17,518 plus alternates.
You ready, Tim?
I'm just gonna have to take your word for it,
Okay,
because that still looks lower than 17,911. 17,518 looks lower than 911, but they've withdrawn their bid, so it's,
But aren't we adding the two alternates to the 17,518?
no, I don't think so.
That includes
Because
it?
otherwise they would have been at 16 something.
okay, well, I think I understand the question, but I think it's a moot point, so I think we should move
We
on.
can move on, I'm sorry.
Well,
Okay.
I just did the math, it's about 18 million even, $18,063,055.
Thank you.
Okay, on this item, we have a motion by Kirchhofer, second by Peterson. Any further discussion? Lynn?
I think it's always important to have this statement because we do this a lot. For those who are tuning in or stopping in for the first time in a while, this is a very large amount of money, of which we have spent a very long amount of time talking and considering it and reviewing it. And Jeff has brought us all sorts of updates and details. And so this discussion or this decision is not without a huge amount of effort and preparation from lots of entities. So just wanted the public to understand that this is something that we have been talking about for a very long time.
Okay, Amanda.
Yeah, Jeff, can you give a, sorry, over here, just like a 30-second overview of the differences between like the library project and this project? Because the library, I mean, if anyone is tuning in, like Lynn points out, they might be thinking, oh, well, the library was only 12 million. Why is this almost 18 million? Can you like, what's changed since we built the library? What are the differences in the project that would account for that difference?
I think that there's certain things that we're doing for the senior center that we decided that we weren't doing at the library. So there's a difference in scope of work. The exterior of the building at the library, for the most part, is that hardy siding material instead of masonry, because we took a bunch of masonry out of the project. And there was other things that we did because we were up against an overall budget. So there was scope of work, and then it's been a number of years since that bid. Those years have been high inflation years, especially in construction pricing. So that, you know, accounts for the rest of it, I guess. And I think that the senior center is a little bit, just a little bit larger, and the gymnasium portion is kind of an expensive piece of structure to build if we're kind of just comparing the two buildings. So hopefully
that's
that
great. No, I
helps
just,
a
big
little bit.
picture, just wanted an overview, so that's
Yeah.
great, thank you.
Okay, anybody else? Okay, we have a motion by Kirstover, second by Peterson. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. Motion carried. And next one is a construction contract. Did you have any comments on this, Jeff, or?
No, just to let everybody know that, again, I worked with Larry and other Stafford members. We had put a contract form into the bid package for the general contractors because we wanted to make sure that they knew what we were expecting. During the course of the bid, we had some feedback from some contractors, and we actually did an addendum and changed a few items. But for the most part, Portson is accepting the contract the way that we amended it during that bidding process. So they didn't have a bunch of changes that we needed to work through after the fact, which is good, and it's somewhat easy. And so we've got them to actually sign it, provide their bid. They provided us their insurance certificate. So we have everything that we think we need that we can execute this. So if we approve it tonight, we're actually gonna hope that Phil can sign it in the next couple of days, because we wanna start construction in a week and a half, so.
Okay.
Not to waste any time.
Well, I'll move right along then.
Okay.
Construction contract, including standard form of agreement and general conditions with Portson Construction Incorporated for the project in the amount of $17,911,500. Staff recommendation, motion to approve, Peterson and Gniffer. I just want to add my comment that, you know, like any project like this, it takes us a long time to get here. There's a lot of people involved that pull the pieces together. I know certainly it's taken a lot of Rachel's time, and probably Lisa and Martin, well, all the staff, I think probably either contributed directly or provided advice. And so I just want to mention, I see Rachel's pointing at Elise, and I'm sure Jennifer as well, but I just want to, you know, I think we take a moment and just say, well, I appreciate everyone's efforts, and that got us here today, and we close one door and open another. Any other comments? Tim?
Is OPN done with their work? Because they have the renderings here. Could we get them to update the photos and like put some old people in there?
So my understanding on that is they only have so many stock people to work with. And because we started talking about that when they first started doing renderings.
Like one wheelchair, there's no walkers.
And they were like, yeah, you know, you really need to go a level further than the architects to the people who designed this software and get them to make a more diverse selection of people to populate the pictures. So when we have time in some future,
AI.
we can let them know.
Sometime after July.
Okay, anybody else? Okay, we have a motion by Peterson, and a second by Kinfer. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. Motion carries.
Pause for
Thank you all.
Congratulations. And just to let everybody know, they are going to be mobilizing probably a week from now and get the site fenced. They're going to start with demoing that, you know, the asphalt and concrete and stuff that's there. It'll take them a little bit of time to get the material like the rebar and things ready for the foundations, but I think by the 1st of April for sure, they're going to be digging a hole and pouring concrete. So it's very exciting.
Cool.
So keep an eye out.
All right, thank you, Joe.
Thanks, Joe.
Anything else?
No.
Thank you.
Thank you. One moment, please. Okay, I8C is reconstruction of County Trunk Highways, CTHCC Jefferson Street and Alpine Parkway intersection project. 1, agreement for reconstruction of County Highway CC Jefferson Street and Alpine Parkway intersection with Dane County. Staff recommendation, motion to approve. Christopher and Knipfer. Questions on this? Tim?
I had a couple of questions. One, do we know, for those of us who use this intersection a lot, when it will stop being accessible? Do we have a target date on that yet?
Kevin, do you want
Like what
to
the window is of?
take that one? Or do we want to do that with the project itself?
That
or-
would be fine, because I have another
Okay.
question on that that is more appropriate there as well.
Sure.
Perfect.
Yeah, this is just the contract.
Yeah, okay, so we have a motion by Kirstover, second by Knipfer. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item 2, consider award of contract for the base bid of County CC and Alpine Parkway intersection reconstruction project. Staff recommendation, motion to award the contract for County CC and Alpine Parkway intersection reconstruction project to Rock Road Companies Incorporated in the amount of $1,555,776.06. Higgins and Marks. Okay. Are you from, is this gentleman from Rock Road or?
No, this is engineer Kevin Wenner. He's the project engineer on this.
Oh, okay.
And actually, Kevin, can you come up? Because sounds like there may be some technical questions.
Okay.
Evening.
Just tell us who you are and who you're.
Sure. I'm Kevin Wayner with Kale Engineering, and I'm the consultant project manager for the design of this project.
Okay. And Tim, I think you had a question.
So yeah, first question was, what are the dates of construction? Do we have those penciled in yet?
We do. So our plan, we wanted to minimize disruption to the school years, and so I think we left it at leaving. The notice to proceed would be no later than June 12th, and so we want to minimize impacts to the end of the school year, and then unfortunately we do anticipate it to extend into the fall 2026 school year.
Go ahead, Tim.
I had a second question. I noticed in here a reference to a sidewalk to Drumlin Circle, and I don't remember seeing that earlier on. Is that, what
Was that-
sidewalk is that?
In a plan, or was that in the project manual?
Oh, that's a good question. I didn't write down the page it was on.
I see it in the memo.
It's in the memo,
Oh.
yeah. And that may be an outdated note there, because I agree, I don't remember that, so that may be one of those that I wrote and is no longer legit.
Good catch.
That's cool.
Sorry about that.
No worries. That was all I had.
Anybody else? Lynn and Amanda.
I just have a question, I don't know for who, but Rock Road Companies Incorporated is not a name that I recognize, though I would maybe not recognize all of the contractors we've ever done business with. Do we have a history with this organization in the village?
For the village, I will answer, I don't believe that we have worked with Rock Road, at least I have never seen them on projects, but they are a well-known company, they just work further south typically. Kevin, do you?
Yes, yeah, I'd agree with that. They're a well-known contractor in the area.
Okay.
Based in Elkhorn, Wisconsin.
Oh, great.
Amanda.
Yeah, so I'm bringing up again, the pedestrian signals at that intersection. Can you talk a little bit about what those will look and sound like, and is there,
Sure.
I'll let you talk about it.
Sure, so they'll look like some of the more modern signals that you have over on Janesville Street. So they'll have the 16-inch pedestrian countdown heads. That's been the standard for a while. They'll also include the APS, accessible pedestrian signal, which has become standard and really required. So it's not even like it's much of an option anymore. But they're audible. They also have vibrotactile feedback. They can be programmed to indicate the road, the name of the road where the crossing sign is on, or just have a tone. And that's something that's handled more at the phase of where the contractor is ordering materials. So Lauren will get materials and we'll have to approve them, and that's kind of when we would have to make that decision on what we want them to do.
Okay, and do you know, like, is it, and again, this may be with the materials, but is it like audible all the time, or do you push a button and then it's just audible during that time, and,
Sure.
when you,
So they have a locator tone, and so that would help someone who's visually impaired to actually just figure out where it is. And then that has different tones to let people know that the walk sign's on, or there's a countdown timer going, counting.
okay, thank you.
Okay, anybody else? Okay, we have a motion by Higgins, second by Marks. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Say no. Motion carries. Item amendment number 3 to the engineering services contract for KL Engineering Incorporated for the County CC and Alpine Parkway intersection reconstruction project in the amount of $162,800. Staff recommendation. Motion to approve. Higgins, Peterson. Questions on this item? Hearing none. Motion by Higgins, second by Peterson. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thanks for coming in.
Thank you. It's been great working with the village so far. Appreciate it.
Great, thanks.
Thank you. Let's see. 8D, authorize issuance of requests for proposals for professional consulting services for village-wide tree inventory and urban forestry management plan. Staff recommendation. Motion to approve. Higgins and Kirstover. Questions, or someone want to speak to this, or Lynn?
I certainly can, yeah.
I think go ahead.
This is the RFP for a consulting company to come on board and produce a tree inventory. Part of this is going to be funded through DNR grant money, and then the other part was built into the CIP for this year that was approved. When I was reading this packet, I thought to myself that maybe my fellow board members or anyone of the public might be wondering, why would one do this or commit, a large chunk of money? And so there are multiple benefits, and if you get Brian Wall from the DNR talking about it. He could probably talk all night about it, but some of the things that I think are important to mention is that by having a tree inventory, we can reduce some of the risk in the village for trees coming down on cars and homes and people and roadways that would require lots of repair and cost. It helps us prevent against pests and infestations, things that could really damage some of the tree inventory that we have in the village. This is something that's very common for municipalities to do. It is something that is a tool that we can use in future construction, in street projects, in ordinances, in all sorts of different spaces in the village. And so it can have a pretty large impact. And it's something that Lauren and I have been spending a lot of time learning about. And we hope that through the tree inventory and management plan, we'll be able to sort of set the village up for success for quite a while, not only sustainably, but also just for public works and the good of the village.
Okay, thank you. Questions for Lynn or Tim?
Yeah, I have a question. Will this give us the opportunity then to be accountable to the public when they see trees coming down, to be able to show, look, here's the total number of trees in the village, here's what we had before, here's what we have now, and kind of show the big picture as opposed to, oh, that willow tree came down, I'm so sad. Yes?
Yeah, and not only that, I think it will take it a step further that anyone who would be taking down a tree would be well aware of what to then replace that tree with in a smart, data-driven, expertise-driven document instead of just please replant a tree. This might actually end up giving more benefit to those areas by having species that are identified to thrive and give more health and sustainability to the village.
That's great. That's a great plan. I love this.
Okay, anybody else? Okay, we have a motion by Higgins, second by Knipfer, no, yes. Kirstover, thank you. Too many Ks. Okay, all those in favor indicate by saying aye.
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 Those opposed say no. Motion carries, thank you. Item 8E, review proposals received for planning, design, and bidding services for the proposed 2027 Bethel Green Acre Park Improvement Project. Consider recommendation for contract for engineering service with JT Engineering Incorporated for the project at a cost not to exceed $125,000. Staff recommendation, motion to approve. Higgins, Knipfer. Questions, comments? Tom?
And the only comment I'd have on this with the opening comment on this is it's a beloved park of the Oregon community. It was like the first park I took my kids to when we moved here in Oregon. It was just up the street. It was the first place they played soccer. This has a lot of special meaning for a lot of people in Oregon. I hope we take the time to really do it right.
Okay. Anybody else?
On that note, I'm glad we found someone local to help us with it too.
Okay, motion by Higgins, second by Knipfer. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed say no. Motion carries. Item 8F, professional services proposal from JSD Professional Services for conceptual design and construction documents for a potential park project located at 235 North Main Street for a cost up to $38,000. Staff recommendation, motion to approve.
Phil,
Yes.
can I interject
Please.
before we get a motion on the table? I'd
Yeah.
like to bring you some breaking news and a little update. As we know, this project has been happening in real time. We're learning a little bit more every day as we get some items clarified. So we have our colleagues from the county out here to answer some questions, and I'll also make some comments, but did receive some clarity from the state today on some critical questions that North Point Development had about exactly who the grantee needed to be. So long story short, North Point does not own the property and was not the previous grantee of other CDBG DR funds that were given for this project. It was who's currently the entity who owns the property. It's called Main Street Townhomes LLC, which is now owned by a private tax credit investor. So a little bit removed from North Point, still a connection there, but in order for North Point to be willing to proceed in this grant, North Point Development needed to be the grantee, and we got clarity from the state today that the other entity, the land owner, who's this private entity, would need to be the grantee. And unfortunately, that was a go, no-go point for North Point to be able to continue. A lot of different reasons that are beyond my understanding, but comes down to, I think, tax liability and taking on a grant, and obviously some risk and liability that this private entity is not willing to take on. So unfortunately, this grant doesn't look like this will be an opportunity for the village to partner with this time around, but I know Joanna shared a little bit about just her conversation with the state about turning the funds back, and had a lot of got a lot of nice comments, I think, from the state. I think there's a lot of recognition of the effort that was put in to explore this opportunity. Obviously, some engagement of neighbors. There was a neighbor letter sent out last week with a short online survey, so I'll keep that open until next Tuesday as promised to the neighborhood, but wanted to give you that update as soon as possible. And at this point, would probably recommend that this contract we just take no action on, and we can pick this up in our CAP process when we have that planned at a later date.
All right. Did you have anything to add, or? Yeah? Thank you for coming in. Again.
We'll try not to shoot the messenger.
Good afternoon, Joanna Cervantes. I am with Dane County. First and foremost, I'd like to say thank you to Elise, and thank you to Larry and Martin and staff for exploring this potential opportunity, right? And I think that's when we met with you all last time. This is an opportunity that we have at hand. As Elise mentioned, it was on real time. Can we make these critical points? And I recall from your last meeting, your direction to staff is like, hey, if it's looking like a no-go, let's pull it before we invest so much money. And so for us coming into today, recognizing that we had that, I did have that direct conversation with the state of saying, we really need a decision. We need an answer to this, because we can't have the village committing funding if this is not going to be a viable project. And so we got an answer, not an answer that we were hoping for, but we did get an answer. And so I just want to say thank you. Thank you for exploring this opportunity with us. Two funding opportunities I did mention to Elise was under the CDBG program that Dane County does administer. We do have public infrastructure. So when you are ready to launch this, if you can show that 51% or more of the users will be low to moderate income, you could competitively apply under the CDBG public infrastructure program. If you are awarded, it is grant funds that can be invested into it. So, and in that particular program, it can take up to 2 years to spend down the money. And so it does give you some leeway rather than 6 months, I think was what we had to try to spend down these funds here. And then the other opportunity that we've been talking to your staff about is the CDBG Pro Housing. I know we talked about the zoning part last time we were here. Please do keep that into consideration. We really do value the partnership that we have with the village, and we do hope that to continue to bring on these funding opportunities that you guys can consider. And for the purposes of this grant, whatever is left over, we cannot invest it elsewhere. We have to send it back to the state, and then the state will send it back to HUD. So, but to wrap up though, the words that I did receive from the state was, this is a successful project. Whether if we were able to spend down 100% of the funds or not, we were able to build 24 affordable housing units in the village of Oregon.
Right.
That is a huge win. I spoke with Sean today. He told me that all 24 housing units are fully occupied. It is an extreme win to say that in a very short time, in less than a year, we were able to invest $1.5 million into your village here, build 24 units, and then have them all housed. So I think that is a successful story for a conference in the future, to say how we came together and made it work. And it really has been through your staff and your leadership in saying yes to our crazy ideas that we sometimes bring up. So
I appreciate you the last minute, negotiations and working through that, and also the information going forward. So appreciate you coming in again tonight. So thank you very much.
And I also appreciate the fact that you got us the answer before we spent this money. So,
Yes, right. Right.
Thank you.
As disappointed as I am in the answer. Thank you.
I think the best way to deal with this is a motion to postpone, or postpone indefinitely.
You can just move on.
Just move on, okay, well, all right. So moving on, professional advice. Let's see, 8G, 2026 Waterman Street and Park Street intersection reconstruction project 1. Request from CJ Cavron LLC to withdraw its bid for a project due to a bona fide, if you want to use the British pronunciation, material clerical error. Staff recommendation, motion to approve as requested. Let's get a motion on the table. Peterson and Higgins, and then who might want to speak to this? Anyone, or just dispense with it, or?
Yeah, I can just speak quickly to say that most of it's in the packet. I've never seen a bid withdrawn for error, and it was very weird to see it twice in 1 week at almost the same site. So this is unusual. This is not something that you guys should worry, hopefully, about seeing a lot of. This is a really strange circumstance.
Okay. Lynn?
Yeah, I mean, the juju or something is happening here, but we'll figure that out. Question about how this works together with the construction that is imminently happening. Are these, do they negotiate, like who's gonna need space for specific equipment? How are we navigating that?
Yep, so that's a great question, and there is going to be a considerable amount of coordination involved in this, and both contractors are aware. In fact, Jeff, while he was here tonight, he's also been spending a lot of the day emailing us and Portson now and kind of setting that ball in motion. So as soon as this is awarded, we'll get the company that is awarded to into a room with Portson, and they'll start talking about this. This is not overly onerous or uncommon, so they will be able to work around each other.
Okay, great.
Anybody else? Okay, we have a motion by Peterson, a second by Higgins. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. Motion carries. I was remiss to acknowledge Elise. I'm sure that after last meeting, we're like, hurry up. And then all of a sudden today, trying to deal with everything. And I just want to express my appreciation and the flexibility. Let's put it that way. Thank you. Let's see, and item 2 is consider award of contract for base bid for the project. That would be the Park Street reconstruction project. The staff recommendation, motion to approve the award contract for the project to Speedway Sand and Gravel for a total contract amount of $327,430.65. For motion, Higgins and Peterson. Questions, comments? Anyone? Seeing none. Motion by Higgins, second by Peterson. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed say no. Motion carries. Let's see, H, review of preliminary 2026 village debt management plan.
So you've committed to tens of millions of dollars of projects contractually in this meeting, so now we have to have the money to do it. In the packet, I have a memo and a schedule of what our annual planning, debt planning is for this year. And so this is the time of the year where we take what was reviewed and approved last fall and winter in the capital plan and in the budget, And early in the year, we start to get all of these bids, of course, and start to get all of the final costs, update all of our project or equipment quotes and things like that with vendors. And then we're also looking at how did we end last year? What was did we have any surpluses in any of our funds? Were we under in any of our projects that we have some money left over that we can apply to some of these projects and equipment purchases for 2026? And so what you're seeing in the packet tonight with the on page 343 is the schedule of projects and equipment that was planned for this year. The one column shows what was adopted in the budget for in terms of dollars and sources, and then you can see the other column is what we've updated and read in terms of new updated costs and bids and quotes and things like that. And you can see some of the comments on why some of those changes have occurred. I guess, as I said in my memo, I'll just say from a big picture perspective, things are lining up pretty much exactly where we thought they were going to line up last fall in terms of how much debt we would think that we were going to need and just overall project costs in general. Obviously, you'll see when you look at the projects and equipment in detail, you'll see some are a little bit higher, some are a little bit lower. But when you look at those bottom line numbers, you'll start to see they start to come in pretty much where we thought they were going to come in. We've done a little bit of work even since this has been published last Wednesday, and I'd say the overall borrowing amount for on the general fund side is looking to be starting to settle around, I'd say 17.5 million. We had 17.7 million in the budget, so probably just a little bit under what we thought, which is good. And then on the utility side, we're still looking at that, but sewer utility maybe may not need an obligation this year. We may be able to fund everything through cash or through our Clean Water Fund loans. And then on the water utility side, we're looking like we will most likely need a water revenue bond as anticipated. We're going to have to refinance the revenue anticipation note that we did last year at this time, if you remember that. And then also we have a couple projects that will need some cash for as well. So typically this time of the year, it's a little bit live as we try to pull all of this stuff together, and we're getting these bids and quotes and all of that. But we're aiming, just like we do every year, for a village board meeting in April to approve the authorizations to actually officially do the borrowing themselves. So this will be on the next agenda for how things are starting to come together. But if there's any questions or informational needs or feedback or direction right now, that would be appreciated. Once we get to those April meetings and we have to do the authorization resolutions, there's a lot of work that happens behind the scenes, and we don't want to get to those meetings and find out y'all feel differently for some reason. So any information or questions or feedback that you have is appreciated.
Questions, comments? Doesn't look like it.
No, is that all you?
Yeah, that's all I
Didn't
got.
see any surprises.
Anyone? Tom?
Just one on the chart on the, and I don't have page numbers here because we were looking at, so I don't, there's a chart of the green where it shows us peaking in 2035, getting close to the, our self-imposed limit, or will that be altering much, or?
Yes. So as it stands today, I would say everything is as it was, as we expected it to be in that analysis. And I wouldn't say right now that I'd be comfortable saying that it's going to look any different than what we have it projected to be, if only because there's just a number of factors that we just need to figure out before I feel comfortable making that determination. I would say generally based on this year's, I think it's probably safe to say that the update of this analysis is probably going to look a little bit more favorable than it does right now for the village. The debt capacity or the legal capacity for the village to take debt is the factor that determines that is the community's equalized value. And so obviously as the community's equalized value goes up, your debt capacity is going to go up. And so right now the projection uses a 2% increase to equalized value every year, which is a lot lower than what it has been, at least in recent times. We're usually around 5%, 6, 7% in recent years. There was, I think, a year we were 10%. I think one year was 14% coming out of the pandemic. I expect that to slow down. I don't expect those bigger numbers, but I certainly would expect higher than 2% for at least 2026. So I would say, you know, we're looking at a debt percentage limit of about 52% after we take out this one that we're proposing to do here in April. I'd say that's probably going to be maybe closer to 50% by the time we look at this updated analysis in the fall, because we'll have the new equalized value numbers. And I should add, I think for any community, the village's size, especially a community that's of the size that's growing, the percent of the statutory limit, it's pretty common to see anywhere from 40 to 60%, and we're kind of smack dab right in the middle right now. In terms of the other factor that we look at is the property tax impact on the previous page, and what we've projected here over the next few years is about $100 added on to a median value home over the next about 8 to 10 years. And so I would expect that's still pretty much valid right now. Now, obviously, again, it's all going to be factored on, did our value go up? Has the tax base increased? Certainly it has. So you might see some of that start to get dispersed out a little bit. So we tend to make these projections a little bit conservative, and so they tend to look a little bit favorable come fall. So, but I always caveat that where that might not always be the case every year.
Okay. Anybody else?
Thank you for that.
No? Rick?
I was back on the operating budget, just looking at the Jefferson Street and County Highway CC Alpine intersection. Noticed that the grants to the county seem to be significantly changed. Can you speak to that?
I can speak to that. That change is largely due to Dane County's interpretation of their policies regarding stormwater infrastructure. And they're a little complicated. If you read the policy document that was included with that cost share agreement, you'll notice that under storm sewer, it says a lot of may. So Dane County may cost share this, Dane County may. And the way that stormwater is conveyed through this intersection, Dane County declined to share in some of the bigger costs associated with predominantly replacing one of our large culverts here under on the south side of the intersection. So that's where that swing came from, is that decision on their part.
Okay. Thank you.
Anybody else? Okay, moving on. Item 9, new business, none. Item 10, reports of village officers, department heads, and consultants. This is for information only. A is included in the packet was the village administrator report. Questions? Okay. B is a police chief report. Notice of meeting release dated February 16th, 2026, and an update on February 17th, 2026, related to the school bus versus vehicle crash. Anything to add to that, Chief?
Just briefly, This was a vehicle that failed to stop at a stop sign and T-boned a school bus with children on it. Right now, our patrol unit, we're all trying to be out there more, really enforcing the stop sign violations. But also, we're just seeing some really bad driving behaviors near the high school. So we're really trying to get some better behavior. So we're working on it.
Right, thank you. Okay, let's see, Library Director Report, Wisconsin Department of Public Instruction, Public Library Annual Report for the year 2025.
This is just a report we're required to file each year with the Wisconsin Department of Public Instruction. I think you've seen this a few years, but not every year, and so Martin just included it for your information. I'm happy to answer any questions you may have. Just gives a snapshot of a lot of the different services we have, a snapshot of the funding and our usage, and just numbers across the board.
Okay. Questions? Nope, okay. Senior Center Director Report, Successful On-Site Food Safety and Sanitation 2025-26 Inspection.
So this is a shout out to the staff and the volunteers who are involved in our meal program. This is the second year in a row that the county has come in with their unannounced magnifying glass and studied everything they could think of to study and could find nothing wrong. So 2 years in a row of no demerits of any kind is really amazing and to be celebrated, and should be reassuring to everyone who eats at the senior center or gets their meals home delivered from the center. So thank you, volunteers and staff.
Great, that's great. Okay, and Village Consulting Engineer Report, January 2026 monthly report for the wastewater upgrade project from Town and Country Engineering, included in your packet. Item 11, announcements and miscellaneous business, announcements, comments, communications, upcoming meetings and events, and miscellaneous business. Any from department heads or staff? Seeing Village Board, Tom.
Just a reminder that the voluntary annual review of the village administrator is open until Monday at noon next week. At noon, I will start to tabulate those, or not tabulate, but compile those into a single document, and we'll be ready for the meeting on the 16th. I think I've got 6 or 7 in at this point, which about half. So I think we're probably have a good set of feedback for Martin.
Okay. Anybody else? All right. 11B, future agenda items. Hearing none.
Do we want to put the senior center request for the consultant on the next agenda?
Be under the committee reports next time?
Yeah.
I don't know if that'd be an additional, it'd be a committee report from the fundraising committee.
We'll have a report out in our request.
Yeah.
In the next meeting.
Yeah, you want to have that in agenda.
It'd be just a committee report at that point. I don't think we'll have anything ready for approval yet, but.
Oh, I thought we were going to ask for the funding for that local consultant.
Well,
But let's do that next time. Okay. But we'll have something for you.
okay, so just general senior center fundraising committee?
Yeah. There might be.
Is that too broad? Okay, yeah. That gives you a little leeway if you need it.
Yes.
Okay. Anybody else for future agenda items? Hearing none. Item 12, as our business is concluded without objection, we are adjourned.